Welcome to the second episode of Knitting with Cat Hair podcast. My name is Nikki. I live in Sudbury, Ontario, Canada with my partner, our 2 daughters, and our 5 cats. If this is your first time viewing the podcast, welcome, and to all returning viewers, welcome back. So first off, I just want to apologize for my first episode. I really tried to wing things and I think it clearly showed. I didn't have any notes. So this time I'm hoping to do better. I have my notes with me and I'm using the beautiful sunshine as lighting. And so hopefully things are a little bit better this time around. So yeah, first off, you can find me on Instagram as Knitting with Cat Hair. You can find me on Ravelry as Cat Hair Knitting, and I have created a group now. It's called the Knitting with Cat Hair podcast group, so please do feel free to join. You can also email me at knittingwithcathair@outlook.com. All right, so let's get started. So first off, let's start with what I'm wearing. So this cardigan, I have to be honest, I finished it in 2018, actually 2017, according to my notes. So it is the first and only cardigan I've made as of yet, adult sized anyways. And it is the Comfort Fade Cardi by Andrea Mowry. And I'm just going to stand up so you can have a look at it. And yeah, I knit it in Madelintosh DK Twist. And the colorways are, this turquoise color is Button Jar. The middle color is called Surf. And the gray color is called Easy. And I did it in a 3-color colorway. 3-color fade as opposed to the original 4-color fade. So my shawl has a beautiful shawl collar on it. Garter shawl collar. Mine is a little bit smaller because I did alter it to allow for the 3 colors I used as opposed to the 4 that it called for. Yeah, so it's got this beautiful garter stitch shawl collar. The body is done in reverse stockinette. So you actually knit the body and then just turn it inside out, which I think is so ingenious because purling this entire body would take forever. It's a raglan sweater. Yeah, so that's my Comfort Fade Cardi. And I used a size 5 and 6, which were the recommended needle sizes. But my gauge, as I mentioned on my previous podcast, my gauge is a little loose. So I did go down, I did go down a size. So I knit the size large to get the recommended bust size, which probably gave me closer to an extra large. But anyways, yeah, I love it. So that's what I'm wearing. We'll move on to finished objects. I do have a finished object. And this is something that I started, I think, in 2018. Yes, summer of 2018. It's called the Beachcomber Shawl. And it's by Chelsea Burkompass. I hope I said her name right. So yeah, it's going to be difficult to show, so I'll just kind of stream along here. But essentially it's garter stitch shawl with little kind of splashes of lace in between. And I have to be honest, I didn't block it yet because I literally just finished it last night and wove in the ends this morning. So it's looking a little wonky here. But you'll notice at the bottom here, there's this lovely picot bind off, which was my first time doing. It's actually quite simple. It takes a little bit of time. I'd say it's time consuming, but it looks so cute. I just love it. And I cannot wait to wear it this summer. And it was knit up in Knitpicks Cotlin, which is a combination of cotton and linen. Let me see, it's 70% cotton, 30% linen, and it's a DK weight. And the colorways I used were the same colorways that are called for in the pattern because I just loved the colors so much. They look so beachy to me. So this kind of coral color is called Conch. This turquoisey tealy color is called Surf. And then this kind of beigey color is called Linen. And I used the recommended needle size, which was a US 8 5mm. Yeah, I love it. And I have to be honest about it. The whole reason I wanted to get this off my needles, because it was nearly finished when I picked it up a couple days ago to finish it. And I needed to get it off my needles so I could start something new. I'm excited, but I'll get into that later on. Okay, so that's my only finished object for today. Next, we'll go to works in progress. Let's see. Okay, so I showed you last episode my Afterthought heel socks. So I finished the first sock. Well, I didn't completely finish it. I finished knitting the majority of it, and then I went and marked where I'm going to put in my heel. So I haven't done the heel yet because I started the next sock. So I am kind of, I'd say maybe not even a quarter of the way through the next sock. So yeah, and again, this is knit up in Timber Yarns. The stripy colorway is Autumn Breeze, and I'm doing the heel, toes, and cuffs in this turquoise color, which is called Carribean. And I'm knitting it on my US 1s 2.25mm magic loop ChowGoo needles. So yeah, I was watching the Birch and Lily podcast. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but I highly recommend it. And she was talking about her socks and how she does Afterthought heels. And she recommended a video by a YouTuber called Kirby Werby. So I checked that out, and yeah, it was super straightforward. I feel like I'm super ready and excited to try my first Afterthought heel. Yeah, I have to be honest, I was initially a little bit concerned about having to kind of, you know, unravel your knitting and cut it, essentially cut it, right? And I've never done steeking or anything like that before, so I think this is a good segue into the world of steeking. So hopefully by the next podcast, I shall have completed my Afterthought heel socks. Okay. And my next work in progress I showed last time as well. So this is the Wool and Honey sweater by Andrea Mowry. I'm knitting it up in Tanis Fiber Arts. Let's see if I can find the tag. There we go. Tanis Fiber Arts PureWash Fingering. Yeah, and the colorway on this one is called Caramel, which totally looks like caramel. This is the cake here. Such a pretty color. And I made some pretty good progress. I think, yeah, I put a stitch marker in where I was last episode. So let's see here if I hold it up. I have it on needles that are way too small in circumference, so it kind of bunches. But so this is the sweater, and the stitch marker is right here. So I did at least 2.5, 3 inches on it. I find the body's going pretty slowly. It's a lot of stitches, and it's just, yeah, it's garter stitch, so it just seems to be taking a while. I'm excited to get the body done so I can start on the sleeves. And what did I want to say about this one? Oh yeah, I'm knitting it up on okay, the pattern calls for US 3s and 4s, but I went down a size, as I mentioned last time. So I'm using a US 2, which is a 2.75mm for the ribbing. And then I using the US 3 for the body, which is a 3.25mm. Yeah, and feels like I'm getting closer to the end. I can't wait to get this one off. Hopefully it'll still be cold enough for me to wear it. I think it's going to be nice and cozy warm. Okay, And I did have another work in progress that I had started. So I think I mentioned, yes, I mentioned last podcast that I was interested in making a hat with my Urso Yarn Co. Latte kind of combo with the mohair. So I decided on the Nuss hat. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. KNUS hat by Elsabeth Judith. Yeah, I'll put a link. Obviously, I put all the links in my show notes. So yeah, I cast on. I started knitting it. I knitted up. I was doing the adult small because I think I mentioned I usually have a smallish head. But I did take it off the needles just to check and try it on, and it was too small. So I was like, oh, I have to restart it. I really got to go up a size. And then when I was trying it on, I looked at myself in the mirror, just like with the little band around my head, and the color just does not work for me. I don't know. It's, again, like, I love brown. I don't want to rant about it again, but yeah, color's not working for my face. So, I frogged it. I'll have to find something else to use the yarn with. Obviously nothing that's kind of around my face. So no hats. Possibly a shawl if it were something kind of maybe at the tail end or something. I don't know. Anyways, put it away. It's beautiful yarn though, I have to say. Just knitting with it. Lovely, lovely yarn. I'll find something else for it. So, I think that's it for actual works in progress. So in terms of future cast-ons, I've been eyeing a sweater ever since I saw it on the Gentle Knitter podcast. So she had knit the Soiree by Emily Foden of Viola Yarns. It's so pretty. And I just find the pattern picture, so like when you look on Ravelry and it shows the main like thumbnail for the picture or whatever, it doesn't do it justice. When I saw it on Gentle Knitter's podcast, it looked so beautiful. There's like these beautiful cables that go up the sides, and she sold me on it. As soon as I saw it on her podcast, I was like, I gotta knit that. It is knit up in Viola's yarns, so they're the Polworth and alpaca lace, and then you hold that together with mohair, I believe. Let me just double check. Yes, mohair lace. Okay. So I really wanted to do it in the called for yarn, and as luck would have it, I got an update because I do subscribe to Viola Yarns to her newsletter. So I got an update that said that she was having a sale coming up February 29th. So I got all excited. And I let her know that I can't wait to knit the Soiree. And I asked on Instagram if she's going to have any of the Polworth alpaca lace. And unfortunately, nope. She won't have any. I think the reason is it's created in really small batches, which worries me because I imagine it sells out pretty quickly when it is available. So I'll have to wait. Yeah, she said hopefully soon, but okay, so I can't cast on that one. So I'm going to go to my second choice, which was the Felix pullover by Amy Christoffers. I know a lot of people have knit that. I've seen it knit fairly recently on Dunder Knits, Knitting Vicariously podcast as well. And so yeah, I'm not gonna do the mohair. I think I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna use some stash yarn. So I have some Estelle Alpaca Merino worsted. Actually, I have it with me, which I can show you. And this is the yarn here. It's kind of like a heathery brown color. I think it'll be nice. It's really soft, and it is 40% superfine alpaca, 40% merino wool. Nice combination. Okay, and I think the pattern calls for US 8s and US 10s. So 8s for the ribbing and 10s for the body. And I have not cast it on yet. Been good. I finished my Beachcomber Shawl instead, but I needed those needles anyway, so it worked out well. So I'm going to be casting this on literally like as soon as possible. And hopefully I'll have something to show for the next podcast. And this is housed in my Unit bag from Unit. They're a local yarn shop in Toronto. I get a lot of my yarns from them. I order online. Okay. Oh, and I was also, for future cast-ons, I also was watching a Fruity Knitting podcast. So I'm still making my way through all the past episodes. So I think I'm on episode 48-ish now. Anyways, it was the episode with Gudrun Johnson on it. And she was showing some of her patterns. And some of them were based, which I think is so cool. They're based on her mother's original patterns from the 70s, I think. 70s? Yeah. And there's this one, and it's a bohemian kind of dress, sweater dress. And it's called the Brassé dress. I'll pop a picture in. I just love it. It's got this like beautiful ferrule yoke and these adorable little pockets that are kind of on the sides, and they have like little bits of ferrule around them. It just looks so cute, so adorable. So I went searching for the pattern, and turns out it's found in a book called Fair Isle Style by Jane Mucklestone. And unfortunately, you cannot get it on Ravelry. You have to actually find a used copy of the book, it seems. So I did go on Amazon and did a bit of searching, and I was able to find some used copies of the book. So I think I might have to get one because it's just so cute. It's so darling. I love it so much. And the pattern calls for Brooklyn Tweed Loft, which is a fingering weight, 100% Targhee Columbia wool. I've never used Brooklyn Tweed yarns before, but I have heard so many good things about it. I'm actually really excited. I think I'm going to do it in the called for yarn at least, maybe not the color, but yeah, definitely. So I'm looking forward to that. And okay, what else? Books. So I'm currently reading a book called, lighting issues, called A Stash of One's Own. It's by edited by Clara Parks, who's a knitter. So it's all basically it's an anthology of short stories from knitters, and the caption on the cover says "Knitters on loving, living with, and letting go of yarn." So it's all about stash, different opinions on stash. You know, people who love to accumulate stash and others who are more minimalist and only buy what they need at the time when they're ready to make something. Yeah, I would definitely put myself into the stash hoarder category. At least getting there. Yeah, for sure. I don't know where the line is. Where does the line between collecting and hoarding start? I don't know. But I seem to have a lot of yarn, and I really need to work through my stash. But anyways, yeah, great book. I'm really enjoying it. I'm almost done. I think I only have about 25 pages left. And then I went to a local used bookstore here called Bay's Used Books, and I was able to find this book. It's called For the Love of Knitting, A Celebration of the Knitter's Art. And it's one of the books I had put on my to-buy list. So I was able to find it used, $7.95 Canadian. Can't go wrong. It's a hardcover. And it's, yeah, it's really cute. I haven't read it yet. So it's a lot about the history of knitting, as written by lots of different knitters and designers. But the pictures are just so pretty. Like, that so pretty? That'd make a beautiful stained glass. Mom, if you're listening, get on it. Yeah, I just thought it was super cute. And it's it's got all these pictures from the like early 1950s, 1960s and such. Kids knitting. Just really cute. Really cute book. So I'm looking forward to reading that after I finish A Stash of One's Own. Shouldn't be too much longer. And I think that's about it. This is a pretty short episode today. Yeah, so I have a few questions for people who are watching. With regards to stash, where do you guys put yourselves? Are you collectors, hoarders? Are you minimalists? I know Fruity Knitting, Andrea kind of puts herself into the more minimalist category. I remember her mentioning that she kind of waits until she has a project in mind to buy the yarn. And I've heard other people mention that too, and it kind of keeps that excitement alive, right? So you get super excited, looking forward to casting on that next project, and you don't end up with the issue of, you know, buying a whole bunch of, I don't know, awful, outdated yarns that you've collected for 20, 30 years that you may never put to use. I have some that have been handed on that may never get knit up, but yeah. What I've been doing more recently is when I travel to different places, I try to pick up a skein of yarn from that place that's local to that, in like individual, whether it be province or state, even city. So when we went out east in 2018, we did, I think we went to four different provinces. And I tried to get a skein of yarn from each of those provinces that was local to the province, and something that would remind me of that particular province. So I think that's something I might show for next time. I'll bring the skeins and I'll let you see what I chose for each province. Yeah, that might be interesting. And oh, I wanted to mention, I forgot to mention this when I showed my wool and honey sweater, but I was concerned about it fitting, right? I remember I didn't want to put it on a on waste yarn and try it on, blah, 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 whatever. I remembered that Fruity Knitting Podcast had said that, Andrea said that she used dental floss. So I think she has perhaps Chiaogu needles, which I have. Either way, if you have circular needles that have the little hole in them, you know, that you usually use to tighten the ends on, the tips on, you can thread that with dental floss and then just knit around, and the dental floss kind of goes around, and by the time you're done your round, you have essentially placed your knitting on waste yarn, or waste floss, I guess. You can also use it as a lifeline, so like if you're knitting lace or whatever, which I've not done any fancy lace or anything yet. But yeah, that's a really great tip. So I did that, and I put it on the dental floss and pulled my needles out and tried on the sweater, and it fits. Yes, it fits perfectly. I think it's a great gauge for me. Like just enough positive ease, but not too bulky. Yeah, so I was super excited about that. So that's just another tip if you guys weren't aware of that one. Yeah, highly recommend Fruity Knitting Podcast. There's a lot of great information to be learned from Andrea and Andrew on that show. So, I think that's about it. I don't think I have anything else to talk about. Oh, but just to let you guys know, this I am intending this podcast to be bi-weekly. So every 2 weeks, probably record on a Saturday and hopefully get it edited and up by the following Sunday. Yeah, so if you do enjoy this podcast and you want to stay tuned, please don't forget to subscribe. And I'm planning on doing a giveaway. So I think, you know, once we get to, let's say, 100 subscribers, if and when, fingers crossed. If and when we get to 100 subscribers, I'm going to do a giveaway. So stay tuned. And yeah, if you like the video, give it a like. Yep, that's about it. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye.